Tesla's stock price has fallen a little bit recently because of, well, the bad news. Tesla's sales did fall in 2024 versus 2023. But they didn't fall in China, which is quite remarkable. In fact, Tesla hit record sales numbers in China, and December was a staggering month. I don't know how they did this, but Tesla sales in China in the month of December were their best month ever. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching The Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Now, I want to make sure you know this. Tesla does not pay me, or I don't think it pays any other YouTubers or bloggers at all in the world. So there's no incentive for me to make Tesla positive news stories about Tesla. But guys, there is like a million negative news stories about Tesla every day of the week. I'm sure you already know them. You already heard them. You already know Tesla sales have slid this year versus last year. As I've mentioned on the channel, I don't believe Tesla is focusing on pure volume sales of vehicles as much now as they did in the past. But anyhow, based on their numbers in China, I'm shocked, actually, to be honest. Tesla delivered a record number of vehicles in China. Now, they actually sold 94,000 vehicles in December that were made in China. That's their third highest ever. 94,000 is actually 93,766. Close enough to say 94,000. Not all of those were sold in China, though. So a few of those were sold outside of China. So sales of Tesla vehicles, for example, in places like Australia have gone down significantly. I'm not sure why that is, but one of the reasons could be that there's now many different Chinese alternatives available in Australia. That could be a possibility. And also remember, to be honest, IQ levels are higher in China than they are in Australia. So most people in China understand the merits and values of an EV, whereas most people in Australia are afraid of electric cars. It's true. They're afraid. They're not interested in learning things. They assume that because Joe Smith down the street told them electric cars will blow up, they don't want to go anywhere near them. So there's a lot of education lacking here in Australia. And I think people in general in China are just more educated than people here in Australia. So maybe that's one of the reasons. Let me know what you think about that. I don't know. Tesla actually sold an all-time high of 83,000 cars in China in December. What that means is they obviously delivered the other 14,000 or 15,000, close enough, to other countries around the world, and they sold 83,000 in China, which is a staggering result. What that means is that for the entire year, Tesla sold 657,000 cars in China. That means their car sales in China grew by 8.8%. By contrast, Tesla's global deliveries were down about 1% from 2023, the first decline in more than a decade. So really, global deliveries, if you exclude China, were down about 6% worldwide. If you include China, down about 1%. But China was up 9%. So amazing numbers for Tesla in China. Especially amazing considering the Chinese know that the Model Y is an old car now. And to be honest, there's so many alternatives in China that are cheaper and maybe better. A lot cheaper. For example, the Xpeng G6 that I've got, I think it's about 8,000 to 10,000 US dollars cheaper in China. And it's a very similar car. So it's remarkable, these sales numbers for Tesla. Now keep in mind, the Tesla Model Y Juniper is meant to come out by apparently January or February in China, the new version of the Model Y. Now guys, even though there's a little bit of doom and gloom about Tesla sales this year, and of course some of that is to do with the polarization of Elon Musk's political views, whether you agree with them or not, I'm not really going to get into that. Tesla actually did deliver a record number of vehicles though. That said, in the fourth quarter of this year, 495,600 vehicles were delivered in the fourth quarter. Analysts expected them to deliver around 512,000. Not sure why, but that's what they said. So apparently, according to that means Tesla was around 17,000 short of analyst expectations. But I honestly think 595,600 deliveries for Tesla in the fourth quarter was actually a really good number. This year, my expectation for Tesla, how many vehicles will they deliver? Well, my guess is around 2.4 million. That's based on the fact that, first of all, there'll be a new Model Y. Tesla should be producing more Cybertrucks. They'll apparently be selling the rear-wheel drive version of the Cybertruck by the middle of the year, which is $60,100. and qualifies for EV incentives, assuming they're still around. Those EV incentives might have been revoked by Donald Trump by then. But either way, that will help sales, but particularly the new Model Y will help sales as well. But Tesla also planned to release a cheaper version of the Model Y and the Model 3 with new battery packs. And I believe those might be coming from CALB in the United States. Or Tesla may actually be in a position to produce CATL batteries, LFP batteries, at their factory in Nevada. They'd have a production line there for the batteries. So there'll be new, cheaper versions of the Model 3 and the Model Y. There'll be a new version of the Model Y. There'll be a cheaper version of the Cybertruck. And there might be another car as well, potentially. So that's what I see as key drivers for Tesla sales. Yeah, I know. A lot of people think that polarization, Elon Musk will hurt Tesla sales. Will it? Probably. But I don't think it'll hurt them enough that they won't be able to grow. As you can see, the Chinese couldn't care less about politics, about American politics, about Donald Trump, about who's in power in America. They couldn't care less. Very interesting. They're more about what they think is the best car. Deliveries for the quarter were up 2.3% for Tesla from the same period in 2023. So in 2023, Tesla delivered around 484,000 vehicles, which was up 7% from 463,000 in the third quarter. But anyhow, it shows you the growth for 2023 versus 2024 was 2.3% for the fourth quarter of this year, 2.3%. But overall, Tesla deliveries worldwide were down 1%. Tesla deliveries in 2023 were 1.8 million. Well, to be exact, they were 1,808,000. But in 2024, Tesla delivered 1,789,000. So their delivery numbers were about 19,000 less. Not almost an accounting error. It's a very, very small difference, clearly. I think that's a good result. I honestly think that's a surprising result, considering, like I said, the Model Y is very dated, very old now. Its rivals now, in many ways, are better, especially in China. But also, if you consider the polarization of Elon Musk, and some people love him, some people hate him, some people just, I don't know. They say, well, actually, I'm not going to buy a car because of him. So I think that is happening. But I'm sure that a lot of people don't care, like in China. Now, guys, if you look at this chart here from cnfpost.com showing Tesla's quarterly car sales in China, it shows the remarkable strength of the Tesla brand in the country. It is truly remarkable because they have so many rivals selling at lower prices. Tesla sales are just keep on rising in the country. Will this continue in China in 2025? Well, I actually think that it probably will. There's no reason to think it won't, considering there'll be a new Tesla Model Y. I have heard the Cybertruck will be going on sale. There have been some preparations from Tesla to make it legal to sell that vehicle in China. I believe it'll be there probably by around the middle of the year. So Tesla will be selling the Cybertruck there, and I think they will sell pretty well in China. But they won't be being manufactured in China, so they'll probably be quite expensive. Probably not a big seller, probably more of a boutique type seller. Maybe 1,000 or 2,000 a month, something like that. Won't make a big difference. But that said, as you can see, Tesla does have a very strong brand in China, and they're doing one other thing, which is very important. They are, I believe, completed their Megapack factory in China, which I believe is the biggest energy storage factory in the world. And they are actually building their V4 supercharger stations across China now. Those V4 supercharger stations are capable of, I believe, of 350 kilowatt charging, which is not revolutionary in China. Potentially 450 kilowatt, possibly, that I've heard rumors of. But they will actually be in use for multiple brands. They will be, just like it is in North America, multiple brands can use those new Tesla superchargers. Tesla does have a pretty significant supercharger network in China. And that is a definite plus for them. But in China, 2025, Xpeng CEO, he believes the bloodbath will continue, as in he believes prices will fall even more. He sent a note recently to his employees warning them of this. So, prices going even lower in China. How will this happen? Well, one, battery pack prices have fallen drastically over the past 12 months, over the past 18 months, by around 30%. Now it's cheaper in China to manufacture an EV than an internal combustion engine vehicle. What this means is that legacy automakers will suffer. So I think Tesla sales will still continue to rise. Not a whole lot, but they will rise at a slow pace. But legacy automaker sales will continue to crash over the next 12 months in China. It's worth paying attention to this. This will have a huge effect on the economies of Japan, on the economy of the United States, and on the economies of Germany. Let me know what you think in the comments.